Hey, this is Scott Sackett. I'm recording a video for some people because I was telling them about this figure drawing book that I ordered off of Amazon called Struttura Uomo. And what this is an Italian figure drawing book that I found online. It's kind of weird how I found it. It was kind of a fluke. I ordered on a fluke. It wasn't cheap. I paid about $60 for it. I've seen them go for as high as about $300 on Amazon. But I wanted to kind of flip through it so people get an idea. And one thing is, this book is all in Italian. So I don't speak Italian, but I ordered the book, and because I saw, and you'll see them here in a second, I saw some of the drawings in here. And this is just getting started. And there's a lot of text here, but it gets to where there's not as much text. There's a lot of pictures. Here it's kind of talking about the muscles and how the muscles work. I've translated it with my phone. It's slow going, but you'll notice there's each chapter is like a lesson, and I forget what this was. Something about structure of the anatomy and symmetry. And so what I've been doing is I've been translating the chapters and through my phone and reading them, and then copying them in my sketchbook. I bought a large sketchbook, and I'm just going through it, and I'm trying to get a chapter on a page. Some of them require a little more, some of them a little less. You can see I've kind of started to kind of stress the book out. I don't care. I buy books like this to use, not to collect. I haven't brought myself to write in it yet. I probably should, because it's in Italian. I could write notes in it. But this is what really appealed to me when I saw this online. Just the way that this figure is constructed, I really, really like. And the book goes through this. It's geared. It's not a. And this is a book, or this is a chapter on proportions. And then what it does is it goes on. There's a little bit, and it goes in pretty detail on a lot of this stuff. It's proportions, talking about proportions, and then it gets into the bones and talks about the pelvis. And one thing I like, another thing I like about this book is all of the drawings. It never loses sight that what it is showing you is a 3D object. Here they actually photographed a model of the pelvis. And so it shows you a form, and it all relates back to head width and head height. They show you a form, and then they show it. It's not, I've never seen an American book that was like this. And again, this is still pelvis. There's a lot, it's very detailed. I think it's got 45 lessons altogether. And then it talks about the leg bones. And it goes into the knee joints. And it talks about, it shows it from different angles. And again, more leg, more knee. It's showing the knee action, how the knee bends. Where does the knee bend? What is actually going on inside your knee when the knee bends? Again, it's showing it from different angles, so that you never lose sight of it. That what we're dealing with is a 3D form. It's not a flat form. A lot of American anatomy books will go through the muscles, but they'll just show a figure standing there. This one shows the muscles from all the different angles, and it works its way outward. Oh, you can see here's where I'm at. And copying. I've had this book for about a month, and I haven't made it very far through it because I've been pretty busy. It doesn't have a lot of color, but it does have a little bit of color in spots. That's as far as I've gotten, like you saw there, so I'll kind of flip through the rest of it. A lot of stuff on the legs, and again, it started at the bones, it's working its way out, and it always shows it with like wrapping lines and everything. It shows with proportions, so you never lose sight again of that 3D thing. I mean, I think it was one of the pictures that I saw online before I ordered the book, and I just loved how it showed all those muscles working together. And again, I've got a lot of anatomy books, and they tend to either show form, like a bridgman. A bridgman is very concerned with those shapes and forms, and maybe not so much on anatomy. And this seems to be like a good combination, in my opinion. I like the idea that it is broken up into lessons. If you're copying it like I am as a rib cage, if you're copying it and translating it, it makes it into easily digestible chunks. Again, it's just emphasizing that the rib cage is that shape. And again, the anatomy never strays too far from the shape, and the shape never strays far from the anatomy. And so I think this is an Italian book, and I always heard how, a few years ago, there were a lot of Italian artists entering the American comics industry, and I always heard how, there's Italians that they go to these schools and they really learn all this stuff. And if this is typical of the books that they use, I can kind of see how, to me, this is a very comic book orientated approach to teaching the figure. I don't know if this is a book for a beginner. If you don't know anything about anatomy, this may not be your cup of tea. There are other books. Walter Reed's The Figure is a good book. If the price is a little higher, if you can't find it as cheap as $60, like I said, that's what I paid for it. Then, there's a book by Michael Hampton. I think it's called Drawing the Figure, and it covers a lot of this. It doesn't. I don't think it covers any of this in as much detail. It is color though. That book is, and so that book kind of takes an anatomy as form kind of approach. One of the things I like about this book versus that book, this book is broken up into lessons. So I think this book is a little bit easier to digest, or at least it seems to be for me. I don't know. Again, your mileage may vary. And I'm very hesitant to spend other people's money. That's kind of why I'm making this, because I figure if somebody's thinking about spending $60 or more on a book that you can't read a word of, it'd be nice if they could kind of see a little bit of what it looks like on the inside. And so I thought I'd kind of do like a little run through. Let's see, muscles of the rib cage. I haven't gone through the back part of the book, and so the pages are a little stiffer. I'll flip forward a little bit. It goes into the arms. I was looking at this. I've looked through the entire book before, and I forget how. It seems like it had like 40 pages on the forearm, And I mean, to me, this is gold. This is perfect. That's the kind of stuff, see here it shows the hand and from the different angles. It shows those muscles of the forearm wrapping around. It shows the hand. Let's see, let me flip through. I'm about done with it here. And again, some of this stuff, and you'll get, this right here is a very Bridgman looking drawing to me, kind of showing the shape of the forearm, but then it goes into it and it kind of breaks it down. It doesn't just leave you with that. It goes in and adds all the muscles. And so to me, this is kind of it's a simple way. I don't want to say simple because there's a lot here, and the human body's never simple, but it's a way, I think, to approach learning anatomy, learning figure drawing, learn to draw the figure, learning about what's in the figure, what the skeleton looks like, what the muscles look like. And to me, this is a good way to do it because it shows you the muscle, but it also shows you the form, and it shows you from different angles. There's a sequel to this book. It's about movement, I think, and I don't know if that's a good book. I haven't bought that book. When I'm through with this, I'll decide if I want to buy that book. And that's the end. It's just under 200 pages. Anyway, again, it's Struttura Uomo. I'll zoom in on there so you can kind of see that. Anyway, again, my name is Scott Sackett. If you want to check out my art, you can go to scottsackett.org. And if you have any questions, you can ask me on this channel or email me through my webpage. Anyway, have a great day and keep drawing.